What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the JTW Sports Show. It's Friday. You know what that means. Anything can happen Friday. TJ made this up. He said it'd be a great idea. Just get it all around, just like anything can happen in any kind of sports throughout the week, throughout however long. TJ, it's your idea. Let's get started, dude.
It is my idea. And who'd have known on anything could happen Friday, the sports world would fall. If you haven't been following because you just are staying off of social media, which I understand, Spider-Man No Way Home just came out. The sports world is under attack. NFL is considering postponing week 15.
Yeah.
While also updating their COVID protocols. That has happened. NBA now is looking at their protocols because now they have players going under. And that leads us to another sport as well. The NHL, a sport we never talk about on here, is also having COVID problems today. Most teams right now in the NFL do not have their starting quarterback nor their backup quarterbacks, i.e. the Browns, the Washington football team.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a couple other teams, but I think how many players is it up to now in the NFL?
There's a lot in the NFL. I know that
it's in the hundreds at least, if I'm right. Last time I looked at it, it was like 85 players to test.
I'm pretty sure the Rams itself has like 23 people.
Yeah, they had over 20.
And like the Panthers today, Matt Barkley, who they signed a couple weeks ago, tested positive. So now they've
oh darn,
they've had to test PJ Walker and Cam Newton, and then
both of them could pop positive,
and then keep them separated. So
I mean, let's be honest. Garrett Gilbert's going to be the starter for the Washington football team on Sunday, because both Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke are out.
Yeah. So Saturday, the Saturday game between the Raiders and the Browns is going to be moved to Monday. The regular scheduled Monday night game will still be played between the Vikings and Bears. But then on Sunday, the Washington and Philadelphia game and the Seattle Los Angeles Rams game have both been moved to Tuesday at 7.
Well, did the Browns game get postponed to Monday as well?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, the Browns and Raiders got moved to Monday, so that'll be at 5. So there'll be 2 Monday games, and then on Tuesday there will be 2 more games. I don't know if those are going to be aired or not, considering they already have their schedules and everything. It says as of this right here, this article from ESPN, as of Friday morning, the Browns have a total of 24 players, 12 starters, including the punter, who either tested positive or are still on the reserve. The Rams have 25 players. So that's
between 2 teams. That's 50 people.
Yeah. And then the Saints coach, Sean Payton, tested positive earlier today, so he's out. Yeah. I can't remember. Was he out earlier this season, or was that last year that he was out for COVID? I think it was last year.
I think it was last year, and it was Mike McCarthy who was out this year against the Saints.
Yeah. And it's taken over all the.
I said it's blowing my mind that they set up all these rules and everything's going so smooth.
Even vaccinated players.
They just decide to change up all the protocols and everything, and it's just what are we doing?
I read earlier today. I don't know how it is with other teams, but Denver has changed their protocols. I think it's by NFL, but I don't know. Every NFL team's different with how they do things. Players now have to get their grab-and-go meals and eat them in their car again. Meetings can either be held outside or on Zoom. And then there was one other thing, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But I mean, so it's just crazy. We've gone 15 weeks without. Yeah, you're gonna have your player or coach here test positive. I mean, there's been a couple, but nothing really huge. And then all of a sudden, week before Christmas, week before we're winding down the season. It's all of a sudden here. Let's throw another curveball into the playoff picture.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it is it's not even all unvaccinated players; it's vaccinated players as well.
Players as well.
So really, I mean, it's this new variant. Looking at the NBA numbers, it says,
I saw where Anthony Edwards popped positive.
Yeah, in December, 52 players, including 2 coaches, 52 players plus 2 coaches, and a general manager have tested positive for COVID or been in the protocols. And 22 players entered the protocol in the last 2 days. So I mean, that's like you said. They're requiring NBA is requiring their players to get the booster shots. So we'll see how that goes.
All right. So now, in case anybody had any uncertainty, we will not be seeing Kyrie Irving now for good.
Honestly, they talked about him coming back, but as of right now, I don't know. Another COVID issue that's going on is the UCLA and UNC game tomorrow and the Kentucky-Ohio State game. Ohio State and UCLA both canceled because of COVID. So now Kentucky and UNC will be playing each other.
It's just crazy that we've gone this since August. We've gone this long with, you're going to have your couple positives here. Nothing real big. But then all of a sudden it's now hitting full force and teams are affecting it. And it's when games matter.
Yeah. I was going to ask y'all, do y'all think this is going to, how many teams do you think this is going to hurt? And how many teams do you think it's going to help going into, the end of the NBA, or not the NBA, but the NFL season?
For the NFL season, it's going to be because you have a bunch of these teams, NFC and AFC, they're sitting at the solid 7, 6, 6, and 7 mark.
They're all fighting for a chance for the playoffs.
Yeah. And and it's going to be teams that honestly don't deserve to get in, but they have the right, or they're beating.
They have the right number of wins.
COVID. Well, right number of wins, but they're beating COVID, and they have the enough players to play.
Yeah, like for instance, a team like Washington, that's going to hurt them. Yeah,
big time. And at the end of the day, like these are all professional football players. So even a team like the Detroit Lions, if they play a team, if they have at least 20 of their 22 starters available against a team like the Rams, for example, who are a very, very good team, but are missing 12 starters, I might take the Lions over them, even though the Rams are a better team. It's just, dude, it's becoming a game of of health, and being, you can't be good if you're not playing. And so it's tough, dude. I hate watching it, but it's going to stir up the playoff mix a little bit. It gives the Falcons a better chance to make it. So that's
personally, I think it gives like a team like the Rams, who are coming off a huge win over Arizona, like we've said. They're not necessarily fighting for their chance to the playoffs. They're more than likely going to make the playoffs. But now this affects, because think about it. If I'm right, once you're on that list, you're on there for a minimum of what, 2 weeks?
No, because you can.
If you're on the reserve COVID list, I think it's 2 weeks.
No, the way they do it now is you get tested. You get tested daily. You can test out of it in 3 days. Which because Russell Westbrook got.
Okay, that's the NBA though. That's not the NFL protocols. I'm saying, what are the NFL protocols?
No, it's the same. It's the same thing.
You have to bring back 2 negative tests, and then you can play.
Yeah,
because if you remember, Rodgers was out 10 days.
We'll see a lot, but I mean, not. But
Rodgers also popped positive.
Yeah, not every player is testing positive. A lot of these players are just in it because they've been around somebody. Like Von Miller. Von Miller tested positive, so Von Miller is going to have 2 negative tests before he can come back. But the way it's working is if you're vaccinated, you're probably going to come back within 3 or 4 days. But he's also got to get acclimated back to being, you don't know how it affects people. But enough with the COVID talk. It's bad. One thing that
NFL, that's the biggest sports news going on right now. The only sport not getting hit by it is baseball.
That's because baseball.
And that's because they're in a lockdown. But they're also in a lockdown.
There technically is no MLB right now. In all honesty, there's nothing like there isn't a major baseball league. I mean, a major league baseball. Sorry, that was weird. But I really wanted to talk about Urban Meyer and the Jaguars.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
And what were y'all thoughts on that? I mean, I think we all saw it coming, but we didn't. Yeah. I didn't know they would. I didn't think they were going to do it because they didn't do it earlier in the season, so I didn't think they would do it now.
Yeah, well, Josh Lambo came out and said how Urban Meyer told him that his effing job is to kick, and then kicked him in the leg. I think that was the final straw. Jacksonville was like, we got to get this guy out of here.
The stuff he was saying to him is kind of ridiculous. Like, I'm all for a coach being all hard-headed and use the F word occasionally. Be tough with your dudes.
There's tough love, and then there's being too far.
He is absolutely shitting on his special teamers. He is making them like, oh, you guys aren't people. Screw you guys.
No, not even. Did y'all see what apparently he said to his coaching staff? He said, my coaching staff at Bowling Green was better than y'all. Y'all are a bunch of effing losers.
Yeah, he definitely I say he belongs back in college, but I don't even know if he belongs there. He just people say he's such a great coach because he led that Ohio State team to like so far, and every team he's had has been really good. But honestly, like
release the 30 for 30.
Yeah.
So
I said it's been the other coaches, but it's also been the players he's had have been fantastic players.
But he's one of those guys that like his personality is like he's like, I'm the boss, whatever I say goes, and I'm gonna act however I want to act. But at the
That's
NFL
the college mentality, though.
At the professional level, that does not slide. You can't tell you're not gonna be able to boss a 32-year-old around like that. Like
that's why Josh Lambo even said he's like, yo, get the F out of my face. Don't talk to me like that.
Yeah, like even Bill Belichick, the greatest NFL coach of all time, is not going to be like that to his team because he knows that's not how it works. Now,
the difference between the college and the NFL is that those college coaches, they're planning those players' day every single day. They control them every single day. What they lift, what they
they're not grown yet. You know what I'm saying? They're not.
But now, but then you have Urban Meyer in the NFL. Urban Meyer can't look at a man who's making 10 times what he's making and say, "Hey, you suck." And there's
but it's not even just like these random players, you know, like Josh Lambo, historically, he is the third most accurate kicker of all time. Believe it or not.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, he is the third most accurate, and it's because he missed like he missed some preseason kicks, and then the 3 first kicks of this season, he missed them all. And so that's when Urban Meyer was like, "You suck, you know, you're not worth a crap. I'm going to replace you." But historically, he is the third most accurate kicker of all time.
What if Jacksonville wins their last 3?
And
what if Jacksonville pulls it off and wins their last 3? Is a big F you to Urban.
That'd be funny, but it just Urban. He's got to realize that he's not hot shit. He's not the big name anymore. Even in Jacksonville, you got other people that are making more money than you and are older. Well, not older than you, but are more respected than you.
Hey, Jacksonville has a chance to win this week. They play the Jets.
Now I have a question for y'all coming off of the Urban Meyer, who we predicted long time ago.
I do have one more question about Urban Meyer. Just real quick answer. Do you think his coaching career is over? NFL, college?
100%.
No.
Really?
No. I think he's going to get a coordinator spot in college. I think his head coaching spot's done. But I think there's going to be a team, a smaller team, an FCS team.
I don't agree with that at all.
It'll bring too much bad publicity.
No. It's not even that.
All publicity.
He can't be a coordinator. The way he thinks, the way he goes about things, he can't be below.
He's got to be in control.
He's got to be ahead of somebody.
I understand that, but if he's not just going to not go anymore. He's not going to stop being a coach.
He did for a couple of years.
Yeah, because of
health issues. Yeah. Somebody was like, "Damn, the Jaguars fired him before he could fake another health issue." But I don't see that.
I think he will. But I think if he does, it's going to be, or even a head coach, but at an FCS level school, somewhere smaller, to bring them publicity so that people will come to the school, not necessarily be coached by Urban Meyer, just because the name of that school is now all over. Now, Jackson State is going to get a bunch of new recruits. That's something we could talk about. Hey, anything can happen. That's what's happening. Travis Hunter, #1 player in the nation. He was Collins Hill, receiver and cornerback. He obviously, if you guys don't know, I guess not decommitted, but he
did decommit.
Well, yeah, but he signed.
He verbally announced on his Instagram that he was decommitting from Florida State and signing with Jackson.
He's been committed for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's the first ever #1 player to ever go HBCU over, you know, a Power 5 school. So all props to him. He's bringing attention and you know bringing attention to HBCUs, and that's super cool. You know, for those historically black colleges, universities, good for them to get the attention. Hopefully, it brings some change. You know, not everybody's taking these Alabama routes and Florida States and these big Power 5, but it can kind of even out the playing field a little bit. So I think that's pretty cool.
The only thing I don't like about it is that he's going. His level of competition isn't going to be the same. Like, as good as those teams are against their respective competition, if a team like that played against Alabama or Georgia, you know,
but guess what? He's going to be playing exactly how he's playing now. He'll have a chance to play both ways. and he will probably be a first-round pick in 3 years.
And he's being coached by the greatest DB of all time.
I saw a little argument on it was on TikTok, and they were talking about like in the comments, and they're like, I can't believe he would go get coached by Deion Sanders. And somebody, replied back, they were like, I mean, he is like the greatest cornerback of all time. And they were like, yeah, but he should have went to Alabama because Nick Saban is the greatest coach of all time. And they were like, and then they were just going back and forth. And somebody was like,
yeah, but
like, how many DBs has Deion Sanders put in the NFL? And then he was like, well, technically none. But then he would reply back, he's been coaching for 2 years. Obviously, you don't have what is he going to put all 4 DBs in the league and
he should have said the better argument. A great player doesn't make a great coach.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's the case in most cases. The greatest players of all time are not the best coaches.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at all the head coaches in the NFL right now, a lot of them didn't even play in the NFL.
A lot of them didn't even play college.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. I mean, I'm trying to think, maybe the only people that I think played in the NFL are Dan Campbell and there's a couple. Dan Campbell, I know Harbaugh did. He played in the NFL, right? Or was that his brother?
They both did.
If
I'm right.
I know Michigan, John Harbaugh did, but I can't remember if Jim did.
Well, speaking of NFL head coaches, back to the whole Urban thing, I would like to know, who do y'all think going into the final 3 weeks, who's in the hot seat? Who's on the verge of being fired at the end of this season?
That's a tough one to answer.
I don't really know because there's so many new coaches.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, they're not. Urban Meyer is kind of the one of the first year coaches I've ever really seen get fired in the NFL because normally they give them, hey, you got to rebuild. We understand. You got to.
I would definitely say Matt Rule.
That's who I was gonna say. Matt Rule's in the hot seat.
I think they're gonna give him one more year. I'm ready for him to go, but most coaches get 3 years. I also think Pete Carroll is on the hot seat. Not just them letting him go, but I think he may leave.
Russell come to Denver.
Dude,
Russell's going to go to Denver.
Other than that, I mean, obviously Matt Nagy, he's been on the hot seat for 3 years.
I don't think we'll ever fire Matt Nagy.
Other than that, though, really, like Jacksonville, Detroit, Houston, and the Jets, the 4 worst teams in the league. Obviously, Jacksonville already fired Urban Meyer, but the other 3 teams, they're on first.
What about Joe Judge? You think the Giants will get rid of Joe Judge?
I think they're gonna let him try to make improvements better because they didn't have any expectations in the season. Plus, your best player got hurt, so it's not that he's making the team worse like Urban did.
Yeah, but is he your best player?
Well, Saquon.
Can you say that though? Saquon hasn't played.
I think with the Giants, it's more of a talent issue and a coach.
Saquon hasn't really played though in 2 years.
Yeah,
he's been hurt. He's still their best player. McCaffrey's still the Panthers' best player.
Yeah,
that's true.
When he plays, he's the best player.
When he plays, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When he plays, he's the best player.
Yeah.
So there's this topic that it's not football, baseball, it's none of that, but something that we definitely need to talk about is Stephen Curry, man. Steph Curry just made absolute history. And yeah, a bunch of people are talking about it. We haven't even mentioned it yet, though. He just broke Ray Allen's all-time three-point made record, which is absolutely huge. It's like I watched it live, and it made me so happy, like low key, not like emotional or anything, but like we just witnessed that, and people don't. I mean, I don't know the word I'm trying to say. People don't just recognize greatness and history as it's happening, and to be able to actually watch that's something that might never happen again.
I remember when Ray Allen broke Reggie Miller's record 10 years ago, and then Steph doing it now. But looking at the amount of games that he's played compared to the other ones, people still say that he's not the greatest shooter of all time. And they're because they say that
Kyle Korver.
What?
Kyle Korver.
They say Ray Allen and Reggie Miller just because of when they did it and stuff like that. But because Steph, this year he's averaging 13 threes attempted a game. those guys like that, I think they probably only averaged 7 or 8 back then.
Yeah, but it's the efficiency that makes.
But yeah. That's the thing is with Steph, he's still averaging the same amount of efficiency. So plus the way he does it off the dribble and off the catch and shoot compared to those guys who were mostly catch and shoot. Most of the guys at the top of that list were catch and shoot guys for their whole career. The only other person that's in the top like 6 or 7, I think, is James Harden. And he's just kind of like, it's the same era as Steph Curry. He can do it off the dribble. So actually he does it pretty much basically all off the dribble. He doesn't pass or get passes. But that's crazy to think about because I think he has a chance to make 5,000 threes in his career.
Which is wild. But it's also something that, I said, I don't know if it's ever going to be broken, but the way basketball is now, he's kind of like, he's been a staple of, he's a 6'2 guard, 6'3 guard, like a smaller than average basketball player that, made history and is making kids nowadays that are smaller, think that they still have a chance. And that's going to be the future of the NBA. There's going to end up being a 4-point line somewhere, but that's going to.
I hope not.
One other record that I think could possibly be, broken somewhat soon is LeBron getting the scoring record.
Yeah. I think that's why he's playing until he gets that. And once he gets that, I think he'll be done.
Yeah, that and Bronny. But besides that, hey, that's pretty much a lot of that's been going on this week. It's been a really, really big week. So I'm glad we definitely
it's been a hectic Friday.
Yeah, exactly. The COVID stuff going on, that's gonna go on for weeks and weeks to come. But all these other stuff, these records, that's not gonna come anytime soon. But hey, this has been a fun episode, boys. It's a lot of talk about, and it's a little longer episode.
There's still more that we didn't even get to, but
yeah, exactly.
This is the longest episode we've had in a while, so
it's been fun, good conversation, and there's just so much, man, and there's gonna be more to come. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys next week.
Yeah.